Hey, hey. We have a very special stream. Whoops. It's up here. We have a very special stream right now. We are playing viewers. Let's join this arena in the meantime. And we'll get a game momentarily. Oh, it looks like we just passed 12,000 subs. Awesome. We'll get a game here in this arena in a second. Let's go. We are out here in this arena. Bang, bang. 496. Let's get a dummy Gambit. I feel like it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Dummy Gambit. Oh. King takes F7 pre-moved. Uh-oh. Got prep here? Well, if he had prep, he probably wouldn't be giving me my piece back. Queen e2, queen g4. Alright. Well, so I think this is a little bit better for white. I'm not sure if queen g4 is actually correct. Just popping up the chat here as the squad trickles in. Okay, setup looks good. Let me know if the audio and video are indeed good as well. Is knight d4 a problem? It probably is. Why did I go to g4? Why did I go to g4 at all? Let's come back here. I feel like she's going to get hit. I guess knight d8 is possible. And then... yeah, I don't think I handled this well. I guess this is going to have to happen. Alright. Desert Lightning resubscribed for 6 months on Prime. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You can be first in line for the viewer queue, sir. Do I have any challenges? Casual, unlimited, standard. I feel like I already had that challenge. This is not the end game I was wanting. But it's the end game we got. So, try to make the most of it, bring out some pieces. See what we can do here. Go bishop d2. Castles, bring the rooks. Just try to bring our pieces. I mean, the end game started off better for black for sure. Really easy position to play. Could take the whole center. The pieces had squares. I'm not sure they've done it so flawlessly so far, but they didn't make a mistake, and it was hard to make a mistake. 95. Just do something logical here. 94 seems annoying. I guess this pawn is hanging, actually, in addition to that one. I'm going to get my light on in my room. I could take f6 or d6. Let's go. Boom. Boom. Try to munch what we can. Not that I have much of an edge in this ending. I guess our g6 is forced. I think if we take... yeah, okay. Can I make something happen from here? Split g3. I think it's just going to come down to some clock stuff at this point. See what we can do. Not a lot, not a lot. And there could have been something? Not really. Can we play? So what you should do if you want to play me is send me a challenge on Elite Chess #1, and then comment your username and if you're subscribed on YouTube and if you're following on Twitch. And the more of those points you have in your favor are, like I said, points in your favor. A5. That's the best I got right now. Best plan I got. I don't know why that's stuck in my head. Can't wait for March. I don't want that. The road to the Final Four, presented by Capital One. You're subscribed. Send me that challenge on Leech S. What I really want is people who have prepped openings against me. Okay, I guess that's an idea. What about this? That's actually a better idea. Then I can take and go. Gotta dodge that rook trade then. Bing. 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 We're gonna get stuck. Oh, we didn't get stuck. They should have played rook a8 though. They certainly should have. There we go. Okay, should be good from here. Got him. Hey, I'm a YouTube subscriber. Okay. Good luck. All right. We are playing our first YouTube subscriber. Let's play a Van Geet. Comment if there's a line you guys have prepared against me. And that, because you guys all know my whole repertoire, all the Gambit full content. If there's a line you have prepped against me that you want to play, comment below. Knight f6, very flexible. This is a Jobava London, this is a Vienna, this is a what? I'm not sure we can do that. We can be, but then I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, Jobava London we could make into a Von Paviel. Otherwise, I'll just take the center. Okay, they want a French? What would I do there? I would just play one of these moves. Okay. They tricked me. We're playing a French. I have been pranked. I have been absolutely bamboozled into playing this. Knight G8. Oh, that's pretty slick, actually. I know that's a move. They want this. I know that is a move. They want to bring this knight to f5, right? Is this a good idea? And maybe c3? They take, then I'll take with a knight. c3 and h3. It takes away, I mean, they brought it there because they wanted to bring it back to f5. And I do understand that there is a logic to it, right? If you bring it to d7, it's very far from any useful square. So we're just playing moves. c4 is not a great idea, even though I had this solidly defended. You want to keep putting pressure here. That would be the point of bringing the knight to f5. Then the queen, knight, this, they can all put some pressure. So now they want to take it. I could take it, but I feel like that helps them, which I'm not in the business of doing for my opponent. I mean, my bishop's got nowhere else to go. It's definitely coming e2. It's got nowhere else to go. There's no other squares. Not coming that way and not coming anywhere else. So I'm feeling a knight takes kind of vibe. Why else? This knight's going to do nothing other than defend. Bishop e7. All castle. I want to see how you're bringing out your pieces. Like, the knight can't come to h6. So, see that challenge. I think, honestly, that they should just do this. Unless you can really generate a lot of hits on e5, but it... Yeah, now, like, especially if you want to play on the queen side, this is looking risky that you've opened this up. So, let's start doing some stuff. Do I get anywhere there? Trade. G4, G5. Okay, maybe this is a move. I'm just gonna bring out the pieces, or key 1. I really think they should close this. But they do the opposite. Okay, I was going to take this. Or else, because if I go back now, f5, now it looks like they got stuff. So takes. I would be surprised if they went for that. They got to go queen takes and then h5. That seems like a lot of opening onto their king. Bishop takes f6. What I was imagining. And then I'll just probably hop in here. And then look to come in bishop h5. Especially if I can trade this knight as well. And then we'll start doing damage to their king, looking for f4. So maybe you take this. Takes here, tempo on the queen, so we're good, right? Takes h5. Queen f7, defends this pawn, hits the knight. Then maybe e5 probably. Okay, so they go for this line. And now I want to trade off this knight. It's actually really in the way. I want bishop h5 and I want pawn f4. You also send a challenge. Okay. Comment your username. And if you're following across my platforms, comment which platforms you're following on. Yo, teach me chess, bro. I got you. I do actually do lessons. I do actually offer private lessons. Best way is DM me. You can DM me on Lead Chess, but DM me on Discord. Join the Discord server. That's in the link tree. And I do actually offer private lessons. You don't think you're a challenge for me. That's okay. If you've prepped something against one of my gambits, that's awesome. That would be cool. So we have made this trade here. And now I think the firestorm is coming. I don't think black's pieces are looking too hot, and I'm not sure where your king is going. That's, I think, the problem a lot of players make up to a high level. You're not you're not thinking about your king. You're not being king-centric. P5NL. You're right. First thing, gotta take care of this guy. Gotta take care of him. I'm like, boom, I'm castling that way, safe and sound. Nobody's touching him. I like chicken 32. Okay. Comment what platforms you're following on. That's how I rank my priorities in the challenge queue. So we got a lot of pieces that can occupy h5. The bishop has nothing else to do, but the knight is not... Oh, he wrote mouse slip? I'll give you a take back. Okay, I played f4. How is that? I don't... Okay, whatever. How long have you been playing chess for? I learned at like 3 or 4. I played my first rated official over the board tournament when I was 5. So... It's been a while. It's been a while. I've loved the game very much. It's taken on various forms over my life. Ooh. Okay, I mean, got a lot of things to do. A lot of squares to hit here. So many squares, so little time. Alright, I think we're forking no matter what. Regardless of whether the king goes there or there. We got boom, or we got boom. Do I play e5 against e4? I do. I do, because I play the Bushcast Gambit. If you play a King's Gambit against me, I will be playing d5. I will be playing the Pickler Gambit, potentially. I feel like if you check him and take the pawn, he either gets forked or lose the queen. Check him and take the pawn. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to take the pawn. But I will do it just for you. Takes here. Oh! Is this what you're talking about? Lose the queen? Check and then check? No, but no e7, right? I'll just snag this rook. I had a lot of good things to do against this poor little king here. Take this pawn. It's not like the rook's going to get out of dodge. But yeah, all we did was just some logical things. We just were moving all our pieces, you know. I mean, I got rook f7. Got rook f7 coming. Whoa, baby. Whoa, baby. Alright. Right, like, I mean, if you look at how I've played this game, it's just from here, just developing each of my pieces, logical stuff, and then I tried to open it while I'm lurking once I had taken care of mine. That's all there is to it. Trying to move each piece. I haven't even used Mrs. Queen. Success. 95 accuracy. What was my one in accuracy? So, I tried a Van Geet. My opponent played knight f6, very flexible move. Then I tried a Jobava to a Von Papil. My opponent played e6, another flexible move looking for a French. Played knight g8, which is an interesting move if you're a French player in this position. Because the knight, I mean, this is obviously the main move by a lot. But the knight doesn't really do a whole lot on d7. Really much of anything. And there's logic to coming back to g8 if you want to relocate it to f5 to add further pressure to d4. So my opponent tried to do that here, and I'm just like tried to patch the d4 pawn, which patches the e5 pawn. But c4 wasn't the best idea. You should be playing queen b6 here, and then looking to bring this knight to f5 and adding pressure right there. So c4 locked that down. And then from here, it was kind of inconsistent a little bit would be my critique, because like b5, f6, you got to figure out what you're doing with your king. Is your king going here? Is your king going here? Right, opening kind of areas around your king was a little dangerous, so I would have recommended f5. g5 made sense if I were going to retreat, and then f5, and now it looks like maybe you got something. Again, still, I'd like to see that king out of there before I can start giving checks and such to it, but those pawns look solid enough, and the position looks close enough, but I do have e takes f6 here, which I think is a nice resource. How is that a mistake? The best move is coming back. Oh, wait, that's crazy. This is and no, the eval barely falls. It is strange. Okay, but then trade bishop e5, and from here, yeah, it's just tough stuff for the black king. Getting out of here, finding safety. I think this is looking very hard, and I was going to play a4 to open that up for my rook, then check and fork, and everything kind of crashes through. Yeah, I mean, at that point when you played c4, I would be kind of focusing on a long castle. Like, the king needs to go somewhere, I would be doing that. But I also have b3, right? Like, if your king is there, I'm going to open it up wherever you're at. And so I don't think, like, if you're trying to cause problems to me, like, really, I had no problems in this position, is probably attacking this, and then I need to figure out some sort of defense for it, right? If my knight moves, then, okay, then there starts being more hits here. Then bishop e7 or f6 or something like that. What's my classical rating? Like, low 2200s, FIDE. Like, low. But GG. GG. Thank you for the game. Okay. I've got challenges from I Like Chickens. Good luck. A new stream. Boom. If Long Castle can't white just exchange all the queenside pawns and start attacking. I mean, I don't, like, in general, I wouldn't castle long. But once you played c4 and then my forces were here, I do think it makes more sense. But I would be playing b3. I would be trying, like I'm going to try to get the king wherever you are. I will always try. Scoring Gambit. Let's see if my opponent's got some prep. No more Van Geet? Oh, I'll play another Van Geet next game. Oh, thank you so much for the donation from Anirban. 40 some currency. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. H6, probably not the most advisable. It takes away one thing I wanted to do. But if you want to take away all the things I want to do, you got to get your king safe. That means getting these pieces out. Because, okay, I don't have knight g5, but I'll find other resources. So I'm not a big fan of just, like, spending an entire tempo just taking away, like, this one idea, you know? Bishop c5 gives me some other ideas, like taking and check. That's probably the best thing to do. Queen d5 directly is queen e7, which guards. Queen b3 is probably likewise pretty nasty. Talking about, like, queen e7 to defend. But then knight c3, knight a5, and I might not even get in my knight d5. So let's go for this. Takes. I think this is pretty annoying. I also think the pawn on h6 is going to be very counterproductive. Because something I can do here, actually, is queen d5, king e8, before grabbing this bishop is queen h5. And now you don't have g6, because the pawn's on h6, not h7. So in that position, you got to play king f8. Then I take here a check. And then after d6, queen c3. Oh, but they didn't even take it. They went king f8. I don't think that's a great move, because now my bishop can even just hang out there. And also you're seeing some downsides of h6. That was an entire tempo spent that has downsides, because, like, that's a square I want. Knight e7, so that guards the d5 square and threatens to take my bishop. I think we should get out of there. And at this point, we are equal on pawns. We are equal on pawns, and my king is here, and your king is there. So Gambit success. Why not queen d5 first? As I mentioned, there's queen e7 here. And I have a queen that can attack both these things, but they have a queen that can defend both those things. And then, next turn, it's just knight f6 driving me away. So I gotta lead with the check, right? Calculate. If the line doesn't work, try switching the move order. So knight e7 is very sensible. It actually covers g6, so my knight has nowhere to hit those spots. E5 is probably bishop. Oh, this is coming. I might even play h3 to take this away, honestly. Yeah. I think bishop g4 is kind of annoying. And the bishop has no other good spots. So, yeah. No thank you. This is actually a pretty good setup. If the knight was on f6, I would just be coming in here. If the knight's on e7, and I can't get in here, the pawn is there. It's actually kind of counterproductive for my knight, and I need to find another way in. Probably just through, right? Gambit Chads Unite, greetings from Phoenix. You should link up with my good friend Desert Lightning, also in on the stream. Username also based off of the desert. Hi, first time watching. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You came on a good stream where we are facing our viewers. And this was a gambit, but we have ungambited because we're even on pawns. Let's jump our knight in here. Knight's not doing a whole lot, but you know who might? This is my dream. Look at where their king is, and I'm just like, I want to get you. Who's stopping him? Who is stopping him if I get to bring that pawn all the way to f6? Who is stopping him? This bishop is not really what I want if I'm doing that. All right, let's start with king h1. It's blitz. So the more straightforward ideas, the idea is, the better. Well, I don't really want that open. So I execute the push past roll. Not that that was a bad thing. Honestly, like, if I had been playing kind of more reasonably and I just had my rooks in the middle of the board, then of course I would have wanted that open. But just that. Okay, they want to make this trade, e6, trade, but somehow that knight comes into the game in a logical way if I do that. Okay, it's fine, whatever. Simple plans, simple plans. Simple plans. I've noticed you are fine going into the Deemer Gambit. Knight c3, knight f6, d4, d5, e4. Bold of you to call it the Deemer Gambit. I call it the Von Poppeel Gambit. Because d takes e4, I won't play f3. I'll play bishop g5 first. That's the trick. Let me read the rest of your comment in a sec. Let me deal with this pawn before I push the other one. Honestly, I'm feeling... And then ba. Once we distract this knight. I'm playing pretty lazy this game. I just want my dudes. I worry about knight e4. Knight e4. I'll move 3. Knight e4, d4. When black has a significant advantage, unless you have something wild in mind here. Good comment. This was covered in the original Von Poppeel video, because I talk about the Von Poppeel mainly from the move order of like d4, d5, e4, or e4, d5, d4, depending on your persuasion. Alas, wow, a6. So they're really stopping my thing. I could go here, but just king g8, and then my bishop looks dumb. They're really stopping my thing. Can't brute force it, because this is in the way. I think I need to come up with a real plan. I think I need a real plan. What do we have in mind? I don't have any good ideas. I'm just going to take this knight. So, hang on. What was I about to say? Knight takes... So, okay. d4, knight f6, knight c3, d5, e4, knight e4, knight e4, d4. We were asking about this. So, my point in the video was to play bishop e3, and then if they play bishop f5, what we're going to play is like g4 and h4, and then e2, knight f4 going after that bishop, and then also trying to trap it. Okay, finally we achieved what we wanted, but I want to answer your question. And then if there's no bishop at f5, like, for example, I play e6 in that position after bishop e3, then we go to f3 and knight f3, and bishop d3 taking this diagonal, and castle short, and queen e1, queen h4, and like that kind of attack that I talk about in a handful of my videos. I could just recapture here. This is finally we achieve our thing here. So yeah, that's what I was talking about, but you should watch the video there for the full breakdown. I just kind of gave you the 30-second summary. But yeah, so if they play like e6, we go f3 and they have 3, bishop d3, and they have, let's say, castles, and there I'll go for this attack, taking this diagonal, taking this. You might be familiar with that from some of my other content at this point. So these were well-supported pawns. So we finally got through. We finally broke through. E7, I had f7 there. I had been dreaming about that. I had been dreaming about those pawns getting there. And Blitz, the easier it is for you to play, the harder it is for them, the better. Yeah, as a general principle of, like, pushing these pawns, of course. Definitely right. You could just play 960 hyper and keep All that study at the library. I don't know what that comment's in reference to. New queen. Bye-bye, old queen. New queen on the block. This is a fun check. Good game. Good game. I had to figure out some ideas there. I think that opening started off really well because we weren't even down a pawn and had the attack, but then my opponent did a good job kind of taking away my main ideas in the position. GG indeed. We got some computer analysis here? What's up? Where's the computer analysis? Computer analysis? Oh, it's cooking. Okay. Goring Gambit. H6, which I don't think is the best move. Like, it takes this away as, like, a future resource, but instead of spending old tempo on that, better to spend tempi getting developed. Because I'll just find a new idea. Bishop c5, I did find a new idea. It was takes, and, well, my idea was going to be queen d5 check. Bishop is unprotected, and we are going to grab it. And I was also going to try to take advantage of this by throwing in this check, so there's no g6. And then takes, and then queen c3 here. And again, we are down 0 pawns, and they can't castle. So that part was nice. King f8 was played, and I just grabbed this pawn. My opponent played, I think, pretty well here, trying to take away my ideas. Just bishop b3. I'm just kind of chilling in my position that has just absolutely 0 problems, nice development, and we're already at even pawns. And so this is already a +3 position just because white. So nice. Bishop e3, this is a nice idea, just because, you know, f takes e3 I would be happy about, for obvious reasons. H3, okay, we dodged that trade. T4, probably best to, yeah, it wants like E5. Probably should just bring the rooks in and play like normal. Instead, I did something a little weird. I was like, I'm going to play with my rooks. My opponent started playing some very nice moves here, actually activating their pieces. But okay, the advantage. B4, this is actually a good move. Believe it or not, B4 was a great move. And the engine's eval goes up here, so it was even better than what the engine was recommending. My point was like, if knight takes B4, now I play this. And now I go with f5, and without the knight here, it's not hitting the e5 pawn, so it frees this pawn to keep pushing to f6, e6. I mean, you saw in the game how powerful that was. a6, so it stops my plan, and I'm like, I need to get rid of this knight. Finally, I did get rid of the knight, and so we were able to bring in the bishops as well, and now when the pawns crash through here, they really, really crash through. And, yeah, f7, f8. And in the end, both pawns promoted. Literally both these pawns. And I had set that plan in motion in this position. In this position, I was like, I want to push these pawns, and we made our dream come true. King h1 to sidestep the pin, and go, pawns, go. They both made it all the way to queens. What could have been better? And even that e-pawn was the one to deliver checkmate when she was all grown up. William, by any chance, do you offer repertoire reviews or something of the sort? I offer private lessons, which is sort of what you're asking. Would that be interesting content? William rates your repertoire? I could. I feel like what you're describing is a private lesson, which you can DM me on Discord about. I could. William rates your repertoire. What do we think, chat? What do we think, chat? Okay, next challenge. Kai Proctor has been waiting for a minute. Good luck on stream. Which is like, here's my repertoire. I play the London and Najdorf and the King's Indian, something like that. It's your move, Kai Proctor. What do you think my level is? Much higher than 1200. Your rating was 1200 there, but you kept taking away the plans I was trying to do. So I think that was honestly quite well played. I might have to abort this game. It's got the little green thing here, which means he's there. Are you there? But, yeah. If you guys have any ideas for content, by the way, something you're looking for the Gambit Man to put out in general, comment. What do you want to see? Always open to ideas, suggestions, anything with my homies. Well, I wasn't thinking per se in a private lesson, more like you looking through the lines and giving your opinion on that. Comment your the openings you play. I'll give my opinions. Alright, we're gonna have to abort this game. And we'll take the next challenge. Sam, I am the man. We've played before. Sam, I am the man. I'm 2-0 against him. However, 22-20. Alright, let's get that. Alright. Van Geet. What other opening is there? Do I play any chess variants? Sure, yeah. I like 960. E5. Oh, are we gonna get this? I like Racing Kings. I like 3-check. I like Loser's Chess. Yes. Oh, we've already got one pawn taken. Only 2 more to go. Only 3 more to go. Oh, Bishop C5. Not en passant? Okay, well now I'll take away... Well, okay. You want to give that check? You can still give that check. My opponent did not want to give that check. Okay, but now it's not even a gambit. Now it was just clean. We're just vibing. Great position. Great scent. Like everything's beautiful here. Being F-pawnless. I think the last time we played, you beat me so bad and put it on YouTube. That's what he just wrote. Does he want this? He can have it. Now let him have it. You can have it. Alright, let's castle long. I could have castled short. But then it would have walked into this, and it's not really good vibes. Give me that G line. No? That's kind of rude. Alright, well. If you want to leave your king there, it ain't my funeral. It ain't my funeral. I'm just trying to bring out my pieces. Okay. Okie dokie. How to get king? Rook? Let's go. Alright, let's go rook. I mean, no. That's not an attack. You can't just push one dude and say you have an attack. Alright, now I'm ready to, like, trade everything here and, like, boom, boom. Just trying to improve all my pieces, guys. I just like to control the center, develop my pieces, and castle my king. It's literally what I was told when I was, like, 4. Worked then, works now. Boom. Boom! Look at that. Bang. Bang, 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 bang. Check. Check. Bye, bye, queen. GG. GG. Okay, this was a fun game. This was a fun game. Well, so, okay. This is the bar gambit. This was my first time ever getting this position, by the way. This is my first time ever getting this position. Wait, so I want to check actually my stats here. Me. Alright, with knight c3, I have 16 games. Let's see here. I have 1 loss from a long time ago. And 1 draw. e5, I played d4 and 1, and now f4. So f4, this is super fun, because, so this position is more common out of the King's Gambit, where, accepted, but knight c3. And you would call this the Nookunski Gambit, because after check, king e2, so this is playable. It's playable, and then we'll drive the queen away, and try to take this pawn back. And that's the nice position you're supposed to get in exchange for your king being on e2, and then having to figure that out. But I kind of got that without any of those problems. So I love this move order, though, because as opposed to the King's Gambit, you'll note when we do it in this move order, en passant as possible, and then this video on my channel, which can only be described as the Van Graaf Gambit, giving F-E-D and then the G pawn, which is just really, really awesome vibes. But my opponent just played bishop c5 here, and it just allowed me to play d4 and eat this pawn, and so we're down nothing, and our king is safe. And I'm just moving each piece once. H3 was just so, like, my rook could have a spot, and, you know, like, I'm just developing all my dudes. I just castled, moved each piece 1 time, and then I'm like, oh, let me stop this, and then I'm like, oh, let me make my first threat of the game, and that threat crashed through and more. Shout out to my pieces for being in good spots. Yeah, bishop e8, I was probably going to play e5. Bishop takes, open this up. Look at them pointing in that direction. Okay, Mrs. Queen might have joined in on the fun. And yeah. Bring out your pieces. Castle your king. Deal with their king. Knight c3 is most commonly known as the Mason Gambit. Like, out of the King's Gambit, I see here it's labeled as the Mason Karras Gambit. Maybe, yeah. But we're transposing to it, because now if it's like this, I don't even know what you'd call it. Oops, wait. If it's in this move order, FE3. I don't know what you call this. Nookunski Gambit, and now the Van Graaf Gambit, especially if you add some G4 to it. Never been played before. I'm still looking for my first. Have I looked at the various piece sack lines of the King's Gambit? Yeah, like the double Muzio Gambit. It's fun stuff. Alright, Powerfish, Chess Sasha, Traceback. Guys, comment in the chat here if you want to play me. Comment who you are. And if you're following and subscribed and stuff. Okay, Traceback, I will accept your challenge. Good luck and mute stream. Alright, we're playing our viewer Traceback. They pranked me. I thought I was gambiting them, but their king's gambiting me. No, I'm gambiting you. Okay. Finally. Knight e2. Mind blown. I feel like I don't want to help you. I feel like you're also threatening to take this. What if I push? I just want this. I don't want the queen trade. Alright. I don't know what's going on. Or am I in their prep? I just want this nice diagonal for my bishop. That's all I want. I could do this. No, I don't have d4. Alright, well, I don't want to trade queens, so let's go here. So this is looking like a standard Falkbeer Gambit if it were this position. Right? And then I know this move after bishop d2, there's e3 here. Knight takes d5. It's in this position, though. So bishop comes to e3 directly. So c d5 again, I don't want to trade. I think I'll just capture knight d5. Well, knight d5, queen d2. I mean, people sacrifice pawns just to put that bishop on e3. People sacrifice pawns for this, bro. Alright. So we're hitting this. We are equal on pawns. Right? Yeah. So we didn't sacrifice anything. I guess queen d2 and king escapes there. Makes the most sense for white. Bishop d2, e3. Oh, that just hung the piece. Oh, what was I going to do on queen d2? That's the most interesting move, of course. Maybe just castle. d4 and a3, and then gambit like so, or e8. Keeps their king in the middle. Keeps their king in the middle. That would have been fun, actually. They're kind of a long way from home. Or queen d2, I would have played e3, queen d3. Like queen e7 there. Yeah, it keeps their king in the middle, and we've got some threats cooking in various directions. Your power fist. Oh, okay, I got you. Love your stuff on Budapest and London. What's going on? I'm playing viewers. Oh, sorry, it's this position. Are you up to playing other time controls or only 5-0 for the moment? Whatever you send me a challenge in, I'll play whatever time control. Oh, I created a gambit recently. Can you please analyze it? Some CMs said it's good. Comment the moves. Comment the moves in your gambit. Alright, so f4, e5. I tried to play a From's gambit or a laying held gambit, even better. This would have been even better. And bishop d6. I love giving both those pawns. I'm a big fan of this one. The laying held gambit. It's on my channel. But transposed to a king's gambit. Now I played d5, a Falkbeer counter gambit, and my favorite would be the pickler. So take again if you want to, but this bishop is brutal. This bishop is brutal. It's never getting blocked. You're never achieving d4. You're also never going to be able to castle your king, and I love that. So I'm going to keep your king in the middle, try to get you on f2, try to castle, get you on the e line wherever I can. Or otherwise, you know, if you don't take that, I'm happy to play knight c6 and only be down just the one pawn. That didn't happen. My opponent played this interesting move, knight e2. Knight e2, so I played here e4. So knight e2 now threatens to take this because I don't have like the check and check pattern that wins the rook. Alas. So yeah, it is threatening to take it because you have knight g3 or pawn g3 to block. And I don't want to untangle that for you. So e4 felt like the most annoying and made the knight kind of sit there now awkwardly. And I would have been happy to accept it like so. And then bishop comes to c5 again on block. Shout out to this pawn for stopping d4. But d3 was playing the game, challenging my pawn, so this made sense by my opponent. Bishop e3 did not, because now knight d5 I think is pretty problematic. I guess here, what should have been played? d4. Can I go knight e4? Oh, this is an annoying move. Hits a lot of stuff. So the engine's actually telling me to castle here. And this is an interesting position. I guess white's got to be precise. I mean, it's tough. As a King's Gambit player, of course, there's like the super fun King's Gambit accepted lines that you want. But sometimes it's like these lines where it's like, you've played f4, you've opened your king, and now your king has to sit in the middle. And it's tough. Like, you got to be precise about it. And here, okay, my opponent, well, they just hung the bishop and then got forked here. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, queen d2 had to be played, and then I was probably just going to play with like e3, queen d3. And like, yeah, castle the king here or something. They should be able to escape, I guess. I don't know if this was actually so annoying. Yeah, they should be able to escape. So I would have been slightly better, but alas, they hung some stuff. Got some challenges from... Someone sent me a Ultra Bullet 15 seconds one. I don't know if we're playing that. You're probably better than me at Ultra Bullet if you're wanting to send a challenge at Ultra Bullet. Alright, Power Fist. Good luck in your stream. Van Geet time. No, good game, Traceback. Is it really called the Pickler? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Probably named after a dude with the last name Pickler. e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, e6, castle, knight e7, rook e1, a6, Bishop 6, knight 6, d4, cd4, knight d4, queen c7, knight f5. Can I... Interesting. Yeah, share it here. Knight f6 played. Alright, I mean, the best I can do here is try to transpose the avant-papillon. And maybe I'll even address the knight takes e4 concerns that was in my chat earlier. Someone was concerned about this move. Knight e4. But pawn e4 is played instead, and so we get a mainline avant-papillon. There's a number of ways this can come about. If you're a d4 player, you can get this all the time. Here, d5 to e4 takes, or even here takes, knight c3, knight f6. Or you can get it out of a Scandi if you're an e4 player, or you can get it out of a Van Geet if you're a recent Van Geet convertee. And the reason you might love this so much as I don these Gambit glasses, what's up? What do you think? Is mostly this happens. Bishop f5, and then, oh, maybe you don't want to do that. I will give you a take back. Bishop was hanging, in addition to this pawn. What was I talking about? Bishop c8 is the most common move. So is bishop f5 and e takes f3. This happens all the time, and it's the exact reason we play f3 not now, but rather here. Because first we induce bishop f5. Okay, c6 now a good move, and it introduces bishop g4 as a threat without queen b7. So if that's the case, then we should probably eliminate this knight. Because bishop g4, and I didn't feel like spending a whole move to stop that. So I'm just going to take it and play d5 and crash through while the king is still there, as my opponent has no more developed pieces, unfortunately for them. e6 could be played next turn to maybe stop d5, although I would probably sacrifice through it anyway. But let me just go for it right now. I guess they could play bishop h6 check, and that's one piece out. Not to worry, there's other pieces that defend Mr. Rook to enable dc6. And yeah, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. h5, so they're looking for this again, but it's not working here at all. It is not working here at all. Bishop g4, this is check. Bishop h6, I have other dudes that defend the rook. So queen c7, and now it's just tricks galore. It's just tricks galore. Knight d5 is possible with bishop b5 to follow that up. That's not only a fork, but that's mate. But even more brutal is probably knight b5, because queen c6 just to trade a knight c7, that's also still checkmate. Well, actually, I spoke very soon. Bishop h6, king b1, queen c6. Trade knight c7, king f8. I mean, it's very good, but it's not checkmate. So I should probably go for this line. Queen c6, bishop b5. That ends the game regardless of whether that move is included. So queen c6, bishop b5, trade knight c7. I'll just stick with the fork aspect of that. So the queen should go elsewhere. Queen somewhere. But where? Perhaps knight b5 still could have been played, but I would have had to trade queens just to grab that rook. Yeah, this line is brutal. This line is brutal. And if you don't go bishop f5 and you jam in the bishop, it could be worse. Because what I'll do is I'll go f3 then, and then take this and go to that well. I'll show you what I mean after the game. Back to the well. If I go c7, and then knight f6, and then queen c6, and then rook d8. I don't think it'll quite work because they can play pawn takes f6, and then if I take and then check, that's king has that spot. But it was worth a shot. Let's go here. 6, 7. Do I want bishop b5? That was a good idea. There's no queen c6 with this. Yeah, I've been a little late on the development. Oh, I actually have some concern here, which is rook b8. And then b2. Ooh. Ooh. Wow, my opponent had tricks. Damn. Okay. I gotta take it. Got to take it. I thought I'd have check here. I don't even have that because my bishop is not defended. I don't even have that out. So I got 2 rooks for the queen, and I'm up 1 pawn. Alright, I mean, that's still quite good, but that's not nearly as good as just up a rook. It's not nearly as good as just up a rook. This has been a battle. It will continue to be a battle. Let's go here and rook f1 and see if they can combine forces. My pieces are good, and my king is good. But yeah, that's annoying. It's annoying, and I only have 1 move. Maybe my bishop should have been here for that reason. Yeah, dark squares mean opposite color bishops means attack. I don't think that was the best move. Opposite color bishop means attack because they can, like, I can't defend these dark squares. Similarly, how they couldn't defend the light squares if I can hit them. Should I have checked first? Maybe, actually. How do you block? Like, the king comes to h6 and hard to touch. I need my rooks in the game. This is a problem too. Like, how am I gonna do stuff? Honestly, I want to get rid of that bishop. Okay, maybe king a1 is smarter. Just don't hang that. Yeah, opposite color bishops means attacks because you can't, like when queens are on the board. When queens are off the board, I know people know it potentially can mean increased drawing chances. But with them on the board, you can't guard that color square. It could be a problem, right? Like, if they want to reintroduce some sacrifices, you can't really stop that. Alright, let's just come into the game, do something. Probably. By the way, this is an increment game. I'm not going to get made on G1, by the way, in case anyone was concerned. Might get made somewhere else, but not on G1. Pin seems annoying. I gotta be careful about, like, my rook's getting forked or something. Maybe I should just come back. I don't want to deal with any tricks there.
5, 4.
Oh, but they can take my bishop too.
5, 4, 3, 5.
Keep him.
4.
Oh, this
3.
I thought was strong.
5,
2.
4.
Let's not get mated. And let's come to the G line now. H E.
5, 4.
Come there, right? I think we're good. I bundled up, got everybody defended, and
5,
we
4.
came to deliver checkmate. GG. Interesting game. Interesting battle out of the Von Popil. Very interesting battle against my viewer. So, out of a Van Geet, a lot of Von Popil transpositions are possible. But against knight f6 here, which is one of the more flexible responses to the Van Geet, f4 doesn't really make any sense, and knight f3 also doesn't really make any sense. I guess you could do, but it's worse than a Budapest, right? It's a reverse Budapest, but the pawn on c5 is helpful. It gives me, like, stuff I can do again on this diagonal where I don't have that if the pawn comes to c6. So it's worse than a Budapest. So otherwise you got to play like a Vienna, which I also don't really want to do. So d4, perfect. We'll play the Von Popil. If my Van Geet opponents play e5, we go to this Gambit, which I love, right? Yeah. If they play d5, I go here, and then if takes, I go to d3. This is a fun one. This is a fun one. Easy stuff, long castles, easy spots for the rooks. And if they play d4, then I'll go boom, 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 boom. Classic Van Geet setup. So my opponent played knight f6, and we got a Von Popil transposition. This could come in a number of ways, say d4, d5, e4, being the most obvious one. Takes, knight c3, knight f6. And now bishop g5, the whole reason we delay f3 by 1 move, right? Most common move here, by far, is f3. But after takes, queen takes f3 has no logic whatsoever, first of all, if you're not attacking stuff. If you play here, knight takes f3, then your opponent plays bishop f5 if they're smart, and then you have no attack. They really just go here, here, and here, and their king should be safe and sound, and you don't really have too much compensation at all for the pawn. Bishop g5, on the other hand, is really smart, because if they now go bishop f5, now we go to f3, pressuring this pawn a lot of times, and if they take it, look at that, queen takes f3, because we delayed this f3 move, we have queen takes now with a boom, boom, two attacks, and very often your opponent doesn't even notice it. But yeah, bishop c8, most common move in this position. But yeah, their problem, well, okay, why not just play e6 or knight d7? Why play bishop f5 at all? I'll talk about that right after I finish analyzing the actual game here. So queen takes f3. My opponent, after the initial takeback, played bishop to c8, protecting here. There's better moves in this position, like queen c8 is a little bit more sensible, but this is also covered extensively on my channel and in the original video, breaking down all of the von Poppel theory. e6 here, bishop takes f6 is a really tricky move, because if you play queen takes, you lose your rook, because the knight is no longer able to move out of the way for the queen's defense. The rook is just gone. So pawn takes f6 is forced, and now we still have lots of cool stuff we can do in this position. Yeah, I mean, I think I give castles and d5 on my channel, because there's no more bishop g4 without the knight there, which would otherwise win your rook. In the game, bishop c8 was played, long castles, no bishop to g4 until they play c6, which is a good move here, taking away my hit on b7. Now I take that knight that was now threatening bishop g4, pawn takes f6, and d5 just breaking right through the ice here. All of my opponent's pieces are on the back rank. King and queen are in the middle for attacking. My king is safe and sound. This is exactly what I want. This is dead equal according to the engine, but inject this position into my veins. This is everything you want for a pawn. This is everything you want for a pawn. My opponent played h5, which is kind of a creative idea, looking for bishop g4 and bishop h6 as a setup. But yeah, I mean, better was queen c7, sidestepping this. Yeah, probably just king b1 if bishop h6 is inevitable anyway. And we're going to bring out the knight and the bishop and bring the rook to the middle of the board, as their king has no safe haven. They also had to go pawn takes f6, so it's not like they're going to be safe castling short. And it's not like they can castle long either through this pressure on the d line. So yeah, lots of not fun stuff here. Also, a trade here can invite pieces coming into b5 and d5. So in the game, h5 was played, d takes c6, queen steps out of the way to c7 now, and here come lots of threats. So knight d5, this was actually pretty well handled by my opponent. Because if queen c6 right now, I have this nasty move bishop b5, and that is not only a fork, but also checkmate. And so king b1 here played. That's why I was talking about before knight b5, which has the potential benefit of keeping the queen's hit on b7 open. The point being that I can checkmate like so. But if they play bishop h6 first, then it's not checkmate. They have the f8 scored for their king. So knight d5, bishop h6, here queen comes to e5, cp7, bishop e7, and I just take f6 because I thought this was just a clean, easy way to grab a rook. Little did I know that this was really stupid. Bishop e5 much better. The knight should sacrifice itself so that the rook can live. And then it's just a very clean knight that I'm up. But taking here was actually quite dumb because my opponent had this little trick in store. And now hitting b2, I had much better ways to handle this, but I didn't calculate that quite this far. And so now I have to take this rook. And this is still much better for me because I got two rooks and a pawn, and their pieces on king are a little scattered. But my opponent did a good job making this pretty annoying here, bishop g7, and trying to come after my king a little bit. This stays about +1, +1.5, and gets even higher when I grab that pawn. So this was, I guess, pretty well handled on my part for the most part. But yeah, I mean, they came after me here. We just guarded those threats. My king is actually very safe from this queen, so not too much they can do to me other than grab that g2 pawn. And now here come my rooks full power after you took that pawn. It opened up a file right onto their king from where we checkmated, really solid position and active stuff. Good game. Fun game. In terms of the von Poppel line, if you close this bishop, say knight d7 to defend the knight to defend the pawn. Now I play f3 and go here, right? And now, oh, look at that. You've blocked in your bishop. So now what happens? Let's say you just kind of do obvious stuff. Look at that maneuver that just happened without a pawn on f2. And the rook's opened also. And oh, look at that. Lots of pressure on h7. Your knight is totally frozen. You don't want to play h6 either because it'll sacrifice and then checkmate you very shortly. Here also rook can come around, etc. So what do you do? Well, the problem is that I am going to take that knight many times. It's not, you can't replace it like 4 times. And then eventually I'll checkmate you here. And so you'll be needed to play g6. And, well, in this position, knight takes d7, and I'll take something to win a piece. But even if I didn't have that, I would just be bringing my rook around. Maybe not to f3 if there's a bishop there. But somewhere, bring all my pieces in. Lots of pressure on f6 and f7. Bring them here. and, you know, have a field day with this attack. So all that attack happens because I claim this diagonal. And then queen e1, queen h4 without the pawn on f2, right? I don't have g4 or h5 because the knight takes that away, but I'll go for queen e1, queen h4. Similar story. And then I'll try to get rid of that knight with everything I can if you go into that. Huge difference if they were able, if you played f3 too early, and they were able to play bishop f5, because then what do? Where does this bishop go? I don't have this awesome attack. Let's say, what, we just trade off for this? I don't have the attack whatsoever. I can cause no problems. This is just a standard defense of a castle king if this bishop's on f5 covering here, or if they made me trade off my light square bishop. So it's very important that I play bishop g5, being like, okay, you want to come out? You're going to have to reckon with queen takes f3. Or you need to make some decision. Or you're playing e6 or something, and I'm not even going to take the pawn, but I'm going to go to this well of this attack. This attack comes out of a few other lines on my channel, such as, you guys might be fans of the Von Henning Gambit. You guys might be fans of the Von Henning Gambit, which is this position out of the Caro-Kann, and bishop f5 being the main move, but we go after it with everything we can have. Otherwise, they need to play e6, and if they play e6, well, you guessed it, I'm redirecting to that diagonal and going queen e1, queen h4, bishop g5, knight e5, and eliminating that knight. So, love this attack. Love this attack as a concept, and the pawn we gave is that pawn, which gives that route to be open in the first place. What about if black plays d5, d4, and knight a5? I don't understand your comment. But, hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if I put that on YouTube. Thank you for the game. The Void Strike Gambit. Okay, I've seen this opening out of the Rossolimo, right? e7, your e1, takes e6. Is queen c7 here the main move? Queen 7 is the second most common move. And now you're saying knight f5. Whoa. We're not even recapturing. This is interesting. This position has happened in the Masters database 115 times. Which is a pretty significant number for, you know, move 8. F5. It's a hard gambit to decline because I guess if you leave this knight here, what are you doing with the bishop if it pressures g7? Typically you see, I rarely see a knight on f5 for a gambit. You see knights on d5 all the time. You see knights on d5 all the time, like this idea. So takes, so this is pretty deep lore. This is some Rossolimo lore. Knight e7, I mean it makes sense as like a replacement, as a replacement knight. e1. Typically, yeah, the move I see most often is bishop f1. But this is interesting. So takes, okay, knight c3, love it. e5. Has this position occurred in the Lichess database? No. Knight f5 has been played one time. One solitary time. But they played pawn takes f5. Mistake. And f6. That is an interesting idea. f6, throw that at them. I mean, white won this game somehow. But probably not the way they wanted to. This is fun. Knight e5. What is the top engine move here? f4? 85 second. I like this a lot. Why is black playing knight to e5? I mean, what else should they play? It's to get in the way of this, presumably. What's like a logical move here? So let's just throw out like bishop e7. I mean, I think this is, yeah, bad because this just gets smacked. Like queen somewhere. Oh, you get trapped? Wait, is that really the problem? I mean, can you not find a square for this? Bishop f4? I mean, bishop f4? This is crazy. Is that the reason to play knight e5? Because you can't find a square for your queen? What if you like d6? Okay, here, and queen b8. d8. This is still a problem, though, because, like, this is a fork. You're not up enough material to just give a rook. So, okay, queen b8. But now it takes. And now knight e5. So knight e5 is, like, a delayed... But the thing is, like, there's f4 at minimum here. And that's not even the best move. The best move is like this. So... This is crazy. So knight e5... Yeah, it's not logical at all, because it can be hit at any moment and presumably lost if you're pinned. But it creates breathing room for the queen. Like, if knight d5 comes, like, now you have a square for your queen, and you were going to play knight e5 and d6 anyway. Because how else do you parry this if you can't hold a piece on e7? You also can't go king d8, probably, at any point, because the bishop comes to e3 and d6. So this is actually really brutal. Somehow all black's pieces are in, like, the total wrong spots. So I feel like... And so f4 has logic to it. Again, the queen has no squares. This is the craziest part. Like, look at this. The queen has nowhere to go. Like even here, queen a5, bishop d2, where do you go? You still have to go to a square that's going to be harassed. Queen c5, you get forked. Right, so here, I take f4. d6. Okay, at least there isn't this anymore. But now I come back to e3, and I'm coming here. And what are you doing about it? Literally, like, genuine question, what are you doing about that? That's crazy. So, the key, actually, I thought the brutality of this would be just like the E line. Like, it's like, oh, we go on the E line. Really, the brutal thing that comes about knight f5, and it's impossible to detect from this position, is you're playing knight d5, and the bishop is coming to e3 or f4, and the queen has no squares, or the knight is waltzing right into c7. Otherwise, like, what are you... Can this be a thing? Take... King... Knight... Queen... At least I found a square. But the thing is, like, yeah, now worse things are happening to you. Worse things are happening to you. Oh, my goodness. So... Can I please comment on chess.com? I want it to be popular. Well, let me ask you a question. If you want it to be popular, would you be okay with me making a YouTube video on it and crediting you and linking your Elite Chess Study and chess.com forum in the description and mentioning it in my video? Yes, sir, polls. All caps. Okay, I got you. DM, why don't you send me a DM on Discord? Pulls credit, though. I always do. I always do. I'm not like these other YouTubers that take my openings and don't credit me. No, I'm all for the promotion of new lines and everything. So, here's what you need to do. Join the Discord. First of all, join the Discord. I'm in the Discord as well. And so from the link tree, right there, DM me. I'm W Grafe. I'm the admin of the Discord. And also post your Elite Chess Study and study links. My country doesn't have Discord. How is that possible? Can I message on chess.com or something? Sure, I guess. I'll check my chess.com messages. Your country doesn't have Discord? Is that a thing, guys? What countries don't have Discord? Where are you from? This is a brutal gambit. What about von Hennig when we bishop sack when they play a6? Von Hennig, but we bishop sack when they play a6. I'm trying to figure out what we're talking about. Von Hennig. When do they play a6? What are we even talking about here? What? Commonwealth moves. Turkey Bandit. We do the job to remind those other YouTubers who's the man behind the idea. Hearts. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys doing that. That's actually really sweet. Go, my soldiers. Go forth into the YouTube comment sections. I'm so curious what this chatter meant about a6. It is a brutal gambit. I actually really like it. Turkey banned Discord. Countries that banned Discord. Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. And Turkey just joined that list? That's a heck of a list to join. You just joined a list of Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, Turkey. Yikes. Those certainly are countries with governments. Okay. Let's go back to playing chess. When we bishop e6, they play h6. I think I talked about that in my initial video. So, okay, have I mentioned this before? Here, 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 here. Yeah? H6, I think, is actually the #1 stockfish move. Have I faced this before, for the record? Yeah, I faced this once. It's fine. How many times have I had this position? I've had this position 21 times. I've faced bishop d6, bishop e7. I have a 76% win percentage, which I feel like isn't so bad. But h6, okay. What I want to do is take it, and then I like this idea of bring the bishop to e5. I like this idea of bring the bishop to e5. So what's like a logical move here? I don't know. Let's open the database. So bishop d6, most common move, and bishop e5 anyway here is nice. Well, because now if you take this, now even if you trade queens, the endgame is going to be kind of a disaster for black. They also don't have knight d7. So this is really nice, actually. Yeah, I just bring my bishop to e5. And then from here, it's just like, my next moves are really simple. Like, my rook's coming to e1, my queen's coming to e2 or f3, and I'm going to be streaking down these lines. And what are you kind of doing? Like, how are you... I mean, the most common move here is bishop e7, which is kind of crazy, because you just moved that already. But yeah, I mean, I get it, because you don't have knight d7 here, your bishop hangs, you just block your queen, and if you play something like rook f8 to do that, well, now this is probably even more brutal than you possibly could have imagined. So, not doable there, and king g8 as well, that's not a trade you want. So the bishop coming to e5, yeah, bishop e7, I get it. And now, okay, let's just go queen e2, queen c4, that's an idea. Rook e1, you know, just good stuff here, knight e4. Yeah, but anyway, bring the dark square bishop to e5. You gotta take twice on f7. And bring it to e5. I think, is h6 the #1 move? Yes, it is. It's slightly preferable to f takes e6. Although f takes e6 95% of games here. 95%. What's my chess.com username? It's wgrafe. It's wgrafe, same as my Elite Chess or Twitch username. How's it going? It's going well. How's it going for you, Winning Chess? That's a heck of a username. Sounds like it's going well for you, too. Alright, who sent me challenges here? A cool gambit is the Rosen Trader gambit. Guys, comment your Elite Chess username if you want me to accept your challenges. Good, just got off work. What time zone do you live in? It is 2:41 a.m. here in New York City. Alright, I'll accept your challenge. A cool game at e4, e5, f4, ex f4, knight f3, g5, d4, g4, bishop takes f4. That is interesting, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in the King's Gambit. The thing is, like, what if they don't do this? What if they don't do what you want, you know? Like, they could do the accepted and then play, like, solid stuff, like d6, g5. They could also just not accept and play, like, literally any other move, like bishop c5, d6, for instance. Or this, or the Falkbeer counter gambit, or, you know, the Nimzovich counter gambit. That's why I'm not a huge King's Gambit person, is because they don't have to do what you want. But, like, there's a lot of fun lines if they do, like the Rosen Trader, or like the double Muzio gambit. Yeah, exactly. And I have concerns about opening your king, like, how it does, you know? And in general, it's like, I'm not a big f-pawn mover. My opponent has ideas. What if I try to play d5 in one go? Because I never played d6. I never defended my pawn like a normal person, and I never played knight c6. Also did never defend my pawn like a normal person. I left it hanging every move for this knight to eat. Grave, what about Budapest, but they play Alekhine variation? Can you comment what moves you mean? Budapest, but they play Alekhine. I don't know what that means. What platforms am I streaming to? I am streaming to Twitch with the widescreen, horizontal view for computer and TV. And I'm streaming to YouTube for 16:9 phone sized vertical one. I'm multi-streaming on those two. Okay, nice center. King's over there. Could bring a rook to c8. What can we do here? Got a lot of moves, a lot of options. So b5 is my next move. If knight takes b5, I have a4, trapping it. And I'm trying to induce something. I'm trying to provoke a reaction here so that I can open a file and just go after this king. Probably a more classy move was knight a5. Bishop is good. Like this pawn is annoying to defend. It's not like I have a pawn on c6 that just jams it in completely. So knight a5 I think made a lot of sense. It was probably objectively the best move in the position. It's got stuff. It's got stuff we can do. But right now my center is just good and chilling. I don't feel obliged to push either pawn. Yeah, like knight a5, take it, bishop out, rook c8. Okay, they play a4, it stops my idea in its tracks. And now we're thinking about takes in this. So okay, let's stick this knight on b4 because we can. So that's one thing about provoking that. And just in general, if there's like an h4, h5, one of the downsides. Oh, speaking of, let's say I was going to hang out here. Because I can, also, because the d5 pawn is now defended. I mean, and then I want like this, right? But I should hang out here because I can. Do I have e4 now? Yes, I know. If everything trades and the rook as well, then there's no pin anymore. But they got out of the way. Okay. Let's just continue to play logical stuff. Rook on an open file. Oh, what's up, Miguel? What's going on, my man? Appreciate you. Knight g5, scram. Knight on b4 doing a good job eyeing this. And we got a lot of ideas. Here, like d4 I think is going to be kind of the next thing. Looking at rook e2, looking at open that, and knight d3. So we got a lot of stuff coming together, even if it wasn't your traditional blow open this kind of attack. So yeah, let's go with d4, and now we're gonna kind of have all our pieces cooking. We've put everybody in nice spots. Knight e4 without taking is correct. However, I want to take here and take d3. However, they can play knight f6. Check. However, I can go queen f6 in that position. But then they go queen e3. So it's not really what I wanted. Yeah, so they're trying to... I told you the bishop was good. I just played d4, opening him up. If I take, I also have to deal with this. So... I need something creative here. What about this and then further pressure? Okay, here's an idea. We're going to play knight e4. If you play bishop f7, I'm going to go king h8, d e4, and then swing my rook. Okay, but they didn't. Don't test me. Alright, let's just play rook e7, which is solid. I'm sure I also had ways to strike sooner, but I don't even want to give you anything. And because this rook was dead, now I've got all sorts of things. Look at my pieces cooking now. I don't think they could have... I mean, you can't do that. And bishop f7, I wasn't worried about either, because it's king h8, d4. And then actually, like, their queen's hanging there. So they go for this, but I don't think this is... We should... I mean, it's worth a shot. Certainly. I have just bishop h5. Could go rook c2. Rook c2 is probably pretty nasty, actually. Bishop c2, I have rook f1. So they gotta go queen c2 in that position. Queen c2, knight c2. They could take this. Honestly, I'll just play bishop h5. It's not doing anything. But rook c2 is probably working. Okay, I'll do it now. So bishop c2, I take it. If my rook is free. That's their issue. So I gotta go queen takes. Now I take it, and now I'm just up a lot of material. Well, they could take gh5. I still have to deal with stuff, right? It might not be nearly as brilliant as I thought there. d3... d3 is good. Bishop f7 is forced. King, rook f7, I have d2. Yes, and that would be promotion. King d1, I have takes. I have takes. And now promotion. And then take here with my other queen. Oh, or checkmate. Or checkmate. Yeah, as brutal as that could have been, well, I would have slid out the way if it came to it. But interesting game there. Interesting game of how to play it with opposite sides castles. And that was a good battle. That was a good battle. GG. I like a lot of kind of what my opponent was thinking there. Well, that was an interesting discussion we had in that game. So let's have a look here. Not bad, 93 accuracy. 4 inaccuracies. Accuracy scores on Lead Chess, I think, tend to be a little lower than chess.com. Or, I actually don't really know. Thank you so much, Kennedy Mgar, for the subs. Snay for the follow. Senor for the sub. Joyful Squid follows. Appreciate all you. So we had a Bushgas Gambit, which was declined. My opponent didn't want my pawn. I offered it again. They didn't want it. Again, they didn't want it. So d3. Okay, finally we defended it with a kind of slick way. Rook e8. So I played rook e8 to leave open the option of c6, d5. Sometimes with rook e8, you need to watch for an e5. Little center fork trick stuff. But they already played d3, and I didn't think d4 was coming, especially with this open. Thought there would be something, and it turns out there is. Right, so d3, d4, I don't really have to worry so much about the little center fork trick. But if they castled, I probably wouldn't play it because, yeah, knight e5 now is much more effective. Saving some time there is white. So, like, if castles, I would probably just play d6 here, finally defending my pawn. Unless we went for c6 in that other interesting gambit line. Anyway, d3 here was played in rook e8, which stays flexible, and that proved to be pretty useful. I'll say something... Well, okay, let me talk about bishop g5 at the end, because there's the big, scary bishop g5 pin, but let me talk about this at the end. Let me talk about how I would have dealt with that at the end, and why I wasn't worried about it, and why I didn't spend a tempo playing h6 or anything to prevent that. Okay. My opponent played bishop e3, but this is an important discussion about bishop g5 stuff. This is an important discussion. Okay, my opponent plays bishop e3 here. Totally sensible stuff. I trade on e3. What else am I doing with this bishop? And now I play c6, which is a nice use of the fact that I never played d6. Right, the pawn's gonna come d5 in one move, and my knight's not there. This rook is doing the task of defending e5. So now when we get into this position, I have this beautiful center, beautiful squares for my pieces. They castle long, yes, but I'm already here a little bit better. Why? Because I control the center of the board. And even though we're on opposite side castles, that is useful. That is obviously useful to have the nice little center. Look at me having more space than my opponent. Opposite side castles, of course, we know the most important thing on opposite side castles is attacking. Why? Why is this even more important than on same side castles? Well, on same side castles, my opponent wouldn't just be shoving these pawns in my face. That would make their king more unsafe than it would make mine, right? However, it's something they're more than happy to do right now because their king is safe and sound over here and they're trying to get me. What's the point of pushing pawns? We push pawns on opposite side castles, and we establish why, because it doesn't compromise your own king safety, and it could compromise your opponent's. But why? So they want all the play to happen in this theater of the board. I want all the play to happen in this theater of the board. We push pawns specifically with the point of trading pawns. And this is going to be very important to my discussion. Hold that thought. I'm going to explain that with my discussion of bishop g5. I'm going to explain that in a moment. It's going to be explained better shortly when I go back to discussing my opponent played bishop e3. Why not bishop g5? Let me talk about that so soon. Hold that thought. Okay, I played here a5, which makes some sense here because, like, if my opponent, let's say, brings the rook to this open line, my idea was going to be b5. b5, and now look what I'm doing to this bishop. Well, you can't take this pawn because the knight was doing something important. Now the bishop is trapped. And now I induce some sort of a3 to create a square for your bishop. Uh-oh. Here comes a pawn trade. Uh-oh, pawn trade. Here comes some severely devastating threats because we trade pawns, we opened up those files. That's the point of trading pawns, to open up those files. I'm going to talk about how to do that in a moment. But you'll see it's happening because I'm trying to trap this bishop and I'm inducing some sort of reaction with this a pawn. That's what I was talking about. So my opponent does a good job actually getting ahead of my idea here and playing a4. So I don't have b5 because this knight is controlling it well right now. Even though I would love to play b5 and trade off these pawns and then trade off as much as I can here to tear it open for my rooks where their king is. I would love to, but they play a4, they get ahead of my idea, and now I can't really open that up. Okay, alas, no worries. I'm going to hang out right here with my knight, which is an outpost now. It can't be kicked, right? I mean, unless c3 was arranged at some moment, but, you know, if they want to do that, it's not my funeral. And now we're defending d5 really solidly against pieces that were attacking it. And also the knight's out of the way for some stuff on the c line, which we had fun with in a moment. So my opponent tried the same kind of vibes with h4, but I'm like, okay, I'll also take that outpost as well. Bishop g4, which I wasn't really going to do last move because it could just be kicked, but now nobody's kicking it. So the same way they played a4 and h4, now they're not kicking my knight or bishop on b4 or g4 because their pawns can't come to the third rank. So my opponent plays rook df1, logical move, sidestepping the pin here, getting on the open line. GG. Appreciate it. Okay, chill in the chat, please. Chill in the chat. Don't spam the chat, or else I'll have to block you. Okay, this is your last warning. Oh, thank you, Andre Jr., for the donation. Thanks for the streams. Thank you. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Okay, so rook to c8. We're just completing our development, getting the last piece into the game, and look at that on an open line. So just logical stuff here. We were able to play knight b4, improve that, bishop g4, improve that, rook c8, improve that, all our pieces getting out into the game. My opponent playing knight g5 here, and with h4, that's not something I want to take, actually, because of some fishing pole concerns. I don't know if it was actually good, but it's not something I wanted to take. So, well, I'm saying that now, h6. Alright, this is your last warning. Comment another dumb thing, you're getting banned. I played h6 anyway. I guess I really wasn't scared. Yeah, I mean, why would I be scared? Takes. Maybe I should be scared. What's up here? Queen f2, attacking f7, or queen h4 coming. This is getting hit. And I'm gonna have problems on h8. So, yeah, actually, maybe h6 wasn't a great move. I gotta be careful about taking this knight. Gotta be careful, like if pieces can actually come to these lines. I don't know, but my opponent moved the knight, which is actually a huge mistake. They should have left the knight there. They should have left the knight there with this pawn. It's so funny, the analysis I was just giving. The analysis I was just giving was saying I wasn't gonna play h6. But okay. Knight h3. I did play h6 in the game. Knight h3 and now d4. So yeah, here is kind of the beginning of the end for them because they start moving back in this theater of the board. They need to be coming after me. And so here comes d4, and now here comes this opening up right there. I think typically when I block someone, I am like really confident about it. This is a little stranger, but I think we're gonna have to put you in just a timeout. Hang on, guys. I think he wrote, okay. All right. I think. All right. Put user in timeout. You got a 5-minute timeout. Go to the corner and think about what you've done. What my parents would do when I was a kid. There was this chair that faced the corner in a wall, and you'd have to just like sit there for a certain amount of time. That was timeout. What else does timeout mean? So, okay. d4. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Hitting the knight. And so opening the rook onto here. And smart of my opponent not to take on d4. That would have made this problem probably worse. But now it becomes kind of interesting because with knight e4, they're trying to coordinate their forces. The thing is, like, the bishop has multiple duties here. And I've got pieces down all 3 of these files. So we put it together here. Knight e4. Yeah, bishop f7. I was going to go king over. Queen hit. So now here. And I was just going to be pretty solid here. And now there's just overwhelming pressure on c2. Open file onto their king. And we made it happen. If I couldn't open the A or the B lines, no worries. I had the C line the whole time. I just needed to make that knight move and to put enough pressure on C2. And we were able to make that happen. So I played rook E7, just a solid move holding this. And now I'm looking for like lots of ways to hit C2. My opponent just took on F7, going for it, and rook F1. That's an idea for sure. That's an idea for sure. We just defended our guy here, G4. And now with a nice little trick, rook takes C2. If the rook is free even for a moment, that's devastating for white. So queen c2, I grab their queen. They take the bishop so they can grab my rook next turn, and they do. But now here comes d2 check as that pawn just actually waltzes all the way to the end. And checkmate, GG. Let's talk about bishop g5 stuff, because this comes up all the time in King's Pawns. Bishop g5, bishop g5, bishop g5. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. Let me turn even the engine off. The first thing I would do is c6, because I want to keep the knight out of d5. The next thing I would do is d6. And the next thing I would do depends on what my opponent does, right? So let's say they go short castles. Let's say they go short castles. Now with short castles, something I'm willing to do is play h6. And on bishop h4, right, this pin's annoying, this pin's annoying, this pin's annoying, right? If we step out of the pin, then they take it, and force g takes f6. However, we can take advantage of their bishop placement with this slick maneuver. With the slickest of maneuvers. Because now we bring that knight all the way to g6. They ran out of rope for this bishop. They ran out of rope to hold that pin. And now bishop g3 is forced, and now knight h5. And from there, we play queen f6. Bishop g4. Knight f4. Look at that. We're coming after them, and we use these knights now in excellent spots to keep it going. Look at knight g2 as an option there. Looking at knight g2 as an option there, and taking f3, for example, like if we get all that. So lots of good stuff that can come here from that slick maneuvering. However, you'll note I didn't play h6 in this position, and it wasn't just because of whether or not bishop takes h6 works. But the reason is because what is h6 if not a hook for my opponent to trade pawns? Because now look what happened. My opponent's king was in the middle, and they went long. So if my opponent's king is in the middle or can go long in any capacity, I will not play h6. Because here's the issue, right? They go here, I do whatever. Now they play g4 and g5. Now g5 is not very effective, and my knight could just move out the way if my pawns are just flat, right? My queen would just be out the way, and h5. And then there's really nothing it's doing. However, here, when there's a pawn trade being forced, it makes all the difference in the world. Now suddenly I'm getting checkmated instantly. Literally instantly, right? That all of this just opened up their rook. The power of the rooks and the queens was just unleashed with an open line. They got rid of their own pawn and one of my pawns. So the point of pushing pawns is to trade pawns. Trading pawns becomes possible, much more possible, if your opponent's pawns aren't flat, but you induce some sort of hook. So I am not playing h6 if my opponent's king is in the middle, because they can go long. They should go long, because look at the huge advantage they have in this race to trade off these pawns. I've played h6, presenting them with a hook to kill me, to open up the g line and kill my king. So I'm waiting for my opponent to make a decision. If they go long, I'm not playing h6, but rather I have other ways to attack, like b5 and a5. And this is sort of something I was touching on in the game. With a5 here, I'm trying to trap this bishop with a4, so now I'm inducing either a3 or a4, and with one of those moves, oh, look at that, it's a hook, we're trading pawns here, and I'm playing rook a1, right? This wouldn't be possible, by the way. Like, if their knight were elsewhere, b4, there's a4, right? That's a very important point here. The same, when you really understand this point about trying to trade pawns and the importance of opening files and the importance of how powerful rooks are when they have open lines onto the enemy king, particularly on opposite side castles, but just in general in chess, right? You understand the push-pass rule, and you can take this to additional levels of complexity, right? So b4, I'm not going to do it because my opponent can just execute the push-pass rule. Be like, no, I don't want to trade those pawns, and my rook is sad about that result. So what's a way around that? Well, something I'll do is, like, let's say this happens, and now h4. h4 is not very effective, by the way. They bring the pawn all the way to h6, and I just push past, right? I just push past. I execute the push past roll. And it took them a lot of time. But what I'm doing here, b4, there's still a4. So what I'm going to do is play a4 and now b4. So now I'm forcing the pawn trade. You cannot push past. This pawn trade will happen. And I'll open up the b line and try to make threats. And similarly, I'm not going to play a3 because just b3. And then that's the end of that. That's the end of that. I can't force the pawn trade. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to bring my rooks to this file. And b2 is something I can attack. So that's some joy my rooks can have down the b line. So that's the important point about bishop g5. If your opponent is same side castling, hit him with h6 and the slick knight maneuver to g6, right? And it's not that effective. Otherwise, if they can long castle, don't play h6. Don't play h6. If they do castle or something and you want to play h6 and you want them not to go there, well, let's say you want to play knight c6. Let's say you want your knight on c6 instead of the potentially having this maneuvering. Then, okay, you can play h6 if they've already committed their king. But if they have not and you play h6 too early, whether bishop's here or anywhere else, then you are in trouble potentially if your opponent can play g4, g5. Once you understand this principle of hooks and of push pass roll and these important things about opening files and pins, right? Pins and everything, right? You don't want to allow bishop takes f6 and g takes f6. It's also a disaster for your king, regardless of where their king is. But they got that other thing you can do, that slick maneuvery to get there. These are all really, really important things that I am using in my games to attack, to annoy bishops, to keep kings safe and my opponent's kings unsafe. Hopefully you can use them in your games to subscribe. Oh my god, you're back? Ah, I'm timeout. Oh, it fixed. I like this boy. I want to say love, but is shame. Should I put you back in timeout? I'm gonna leave you. You're funny, I think. I'm sorry, I don't swing that way. I'm so sorry. So sorry to break your heart. How'd you come? Okay, let me read chat. Fan of the Rousseau Gambit? Sure, yeah. I love all this stuff Straunt's put out. I love Straunt's. I love all Straunt's stuff. I think he likes timeout. Do I play Gambits in over the board classical? That's a good question. The thing about over the board classical, and especially at my level, you know, when you're playing like other title players and they got like 2 hours on their clock, it's super accurate, especially in the beginning of the game when they do have 2 hours on their clock. So I play things like the Banco Gambit and other things like that. And I love the same principle of like not playing main lines, like trying to do something a little bit creative, but I can't play like a lot of the stuff I play here. I play it in Blitz against anyone. But in classical with 2 hours on the clock, it's just so accurate. So at least at my level. But people have been playing it in classical. I know people talk about this in the Discord and everything when they share their stories and share their gambits. By the way, you guys should all join the Discord. But let me join. All right, I must be Stockfish. Send me a 15-0 challenge. Okay. Good luck. At a certain point, like I should go to bed. Hey, can you add me on Chess? This guy. Alright, Bushcast Gambit. Most normal YouTube live chatter. I guess so. Andre Jr., I appreciate the super chatting. Kendi Mwange, thanks for the sub. Oh! We have a Bushcast Gambit accepted against my viewer. I must beat Stockfish, all caps. Wow, the ratings are all question marks. What? 2,637 games, though. What? 2,637 games, but they're all unrated because they have no rating. Wait, this is crazy. This is a good move, actually. Because if I play knight f6, then it goes to the Stafford refutation. So I'll go with the f5 line. By the way, is there anyone here who likes the Colorado Gambit? You guys should join the Discord, honestly, and chat about it there. I know I keep saying that, but we got an awesome community there and several channels, and people are talking about Gambit, sharing study links, sharing their games, sharing their experiences, talking about opening ideas. So, awesome stuff. Is the modern Benoni a more aggressive approach than the Banco? I mean, I would say no. But the thing about the Banco is you're not attacking... It's strange as a Gambit because the threats aren't on their king. The threats are actually where their king isn't. They're always castling here, and Bishop D3 is a weird move. I'm not sure what to make of it. With G3, I'll try to sneak in. I just like doing that before I play knight f6. I mean, I like my f5 stuff in these sorts of setups. Like, for example, if d3, I still want to kind of make that trade queen h4, knight f6, castles, bring the rooks here. I like doing that because it's like the Stafford setups, except when I trade that f pawn, it's actually really nice. It gives me additional hits onto f2. All right. Appreciate it, man. I'm not sure I'm gonna add. I'm not sure I really add people on Leech Chess in general, but thanks. But I appreciate your support. Wish you had YouTube. Wish you had Discord. Can't use it. I must be Stockfish. All caps. Stockfish. What? Was the username taken for an H at the end of that? You have the dashes. Bishop back to F1. That's actually kind of annoying. I didn't really think about that. I have no idea how good my opponent is because they have no ratings in anything. Wait, oh, I didn't see this at all. There's D4. Wait, this is going to be a long night if we got to trade queens here in a game with this kind of time control. Alright. I got no choice. Oh, but D4 anyway. They gave the pawn back? Wait, why'd you give the pawn back? They didn't have to. I guess the bishop was gonna try to generate some stuff there, but I didn't think they had to give the pawn back. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Queen's off the board, but we're even on pawns now. Let's assume his username ends with an H, not a T. Oh. What? Is that a word I don't know? I'm trying to process this in my head. Maybe I should stop trying to process it. We got... Well, I guess this is kind of annoying. Check e5? Let me just play bishop e6. I don't even want to deal with the checking e5. You're a champion? I'm sure you are. Congrats. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. I like this one. Opens the rook as well. But you don't think you can beat me because I'm very good at chess. William, how is that meme thing? Freaking... Freaking out, puking something, something. Q Daniel, thank you for the raid. Borat Chess, thanks for the follow. What's up, everybody? What is up? Welcome in. Alright, well, we're talking about screaming, crying, throwing up. Screaming, crying, throwing up. I saw that on the internet once, and then I was like, that seems like a funny thing, very dramatic. So, wow, I appreciate everybody coming in. Borat Chess, XD, Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the raid. I can take you in cheese boxing. You know what? You probably can. I'm not a big consumer of cheese. Hi, I'm new to chess. I just did my first stream of it. That is awesome. Congrats to you. Thank you for the follow. Oh my god, I might also be playing chess for the first time. Did I hang knight f4? No, both my bishops are under attack. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. You probably played better chess than I did. I gotta take that. That was really dumb. Uh-oh. How was your stream? How was playing chess for the first time? In your first stream of it? Let's see if we can go there. We've got, what do we got? We have one pawn for the exchange. It was fun. The community is really friendly, and I was learning a lot today. Awesome. Yeah, the chess community is great. I mean, that's why I love just like... That's why I love doing this. That's why I love doing this. Certainly not for any other reason, but... People are the best. I just turn this on, and we've got thousands of friends. Blunder a lot, but learn from your mistakes. That's all that matters. What a great mentality to have. I think... I mean, that's what marks here. Someone was just talking about what it means to be a champion. There's no one who doesn't lose. But the question is, like, what do we do when we lose, right? If you love the game and everything, you confront those mistakes and learn from it and do better. That's true in chess. That's true in anything. Don't want to allow e5. If I get hit again, then we hit g4. So h5, h3, then g3, right? Rook e8 is also logical, but I'm just going to play h5 here. Just so all my other pieces are free. I think I was trying to play g3 here. Maybe the problem is bishop g5. I didn't even see. What a vibe this song is. Yeah, this... c4, g2. This is annoying. Okay, we'll try this. c4, hit the rook. Well, wait, I actually should have done it without c4. My whole point was I was going to fork these bishops. And now I just made the rook defend it. Yeah, this game hasn't been my finest moment. Yeah, of course they can just take it, because that defends it. I really should go to bed. It's after 3 o'clock. Alright, c3. Let's cause some disturbance here. Okay, 4. See what we can do. Can you be my friend, please? I asked you 12 times. I'll be your friend. Friend is an impossible thing to be. Chess result is chess results. Chess result. Are you my friend now? Alright, awesome. Appreciate you, Q Daniel. Yo, wild username indeed. Redeemed, highlight my message. Him be like, pulls FM, I need this. My brilliancy is kind of brilliantless. My opponent? Maybe. I'm not sure why it took... 15-0 is so long. 15-0 is long. What's the best opening for 15 to 1700 range, in my opinion? The Bushcast Gambit is the best opening for all the ranges. Honestly, like, being a Gambit player is, as someone comments, we want new Gambit with lots of exclams in all caps. Guys, I put out new Gambits, like, all the time. I'm glad you like the content. Literally, wasn't that like my second most recent video was that one on that crazy new Gambit in the Van Geet of like knight c3, e5, f4 takes, e4, fe3, knight f3, ed2. Like I put like this is the whole line, like sacrificing like 4 pawns, awesome, brand new, never played before even on Lichess. And they're like, this is great for like 5 minutes. Why haven't you invented a brand new chess line in the past 3 days? Sorry, chat. Gotta keep it. Gotta keep the Gambit machine churning. We want new Gambit. Tell him. No, you shouldn't expect anything less. Guys, what am I even going to play in this position? Honestly, looking for ideas. Screaming, crying, throwing up. Chat, I'm screaming, crying, throwing up. I'm screaming, crying, throwing up, chat. I'm just going to lose this. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you play with me? Hashtag checkmate the Gordacum. Notice YouTube chat also, man. I am. What? I'm reading both chats. I'm trying to read all the chats I can. I'm working on a Gambit and I'm scared William will discover it and make a video before I do. Are you also a YouTuber? Discover it and make a video before you do. If you want to DM me and work together, I'm happy to. But if you just want to make your own thing, you go for it. For CB4, right? I should try. Get my own thing down here. There's 6 bishop there is problem. Maybe. You are the one who Gambit the Gambit itself. You are the one who Gambit the Gambit itself. We need a new Gambit every hour. I'm loving the chat content here. Is 5 plus 3 okay with me? Yeah, that's okay. Gold Dragon 99, thanks for the sub. Do you use Gambits in classical? I was just talking about this. What was I just saying? I might have some checkmatey stuff here, actually. I was kind of looking at this position. I don't know how to make it work exactly, though. That was a really good move. That's a really good move. How do I deal with this? I don't have bishop h6. Dang, I don't have any other options here. g7. Here, knave 6. Yes. Be careful about that though. Here, and then I gotta deal with that. Well, then I have an e4. Okay, I should take this probably. The thing is, at my level, titled players, 2 hours on the clock, they're just kind of too good. So I still play like really aggressive stuff, but not necessarily the same gambits here. But I play the same gambits here in Titled Tuesday against everybody in Blitz. But 2 hours on your clock, at my level, quality of moves is just so high. So it's a little different. It's just a little different. They have 3 over e4. There's 3 over e4 on the first move of the game? Get out my chat. I'm kidding, you're good. Rook g1, good move. Not g3 or here, because I had an 84, right? And then it was going to fork your rooks if you took it out here. So this is smart, and then rook f1 is coming next. But also, you can take it without getting mated. So I should guard my knight. Well, the thing is, rook f1. I gotta deal with this somehow. So let's say knight. Well, this could actually be problematic because you can hit this bishop a lot of times. Like, let's say here, and then bishop g6. King e7 and like rook d6 we could. The other thing we could do is like knight e4, trade, rook f1, rook e7. That's kind of lame. So what are we gonna do then? Rook d6, probably that, right? Rook d6, but then I also lose this pawn. I'm not sure I'm keeping that pawn in any line. It's not powerful enough to do that, right? b3 gets likewise nowhere. So here. Ugh. d6. Alright, I gotta go rook d6. I don't like it. I don't love it. Alright, rook d6. They're going to be able to grab that, though. I don't get enough here. Let's go this. Which direction? G7. There was a 1d4 flyer? Account looks kind of sus. My opponent's account? Do you think they're playing sus this game? I'm not sure. Wait, I don't want to get mated. I think I'm not getting mated. It's not like something I'm super comfortable with. Alright. I mean, they could just come back. What am I doing? I gotta come to e7 if they just want to repeat moves. I mean, I don't know why they would want to repeat moves, honestly. They could just take b4 and just be up stuff. Yeah. So b6 here. They really got me in a couple of key spots this game. Do here. This is not a fun position. I need rooks off the board, or else I gotta deal with this. Oh wait, there's rook g6. No wait, there was not, because I had knight block. Gotta do what we can here. That's also not fun for me. Bishop's doing a lot there for me too. Yeah, not good. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, so that's where it's coming from. Not a big believer of gambits. But in Blitz, gambits are goated. Okay. Whenever I see someone say I'm not a big believer in gambits, I'm like, okay, well, play me. Play me, play my gambits. But my opponent just did the exact thing. opponent is playing so well. My opponent's so strange. They have 2,600 games, but no rating. I think I severely underestimated them. I was kind of just messing around and then just started playing well. Don't know what to do here. Don't know what to do. D6, I guess. It's all against Stockfish only. Oh. All their games are only against Stockfish. It's too funny. Yeah, I beat Stockfish with the Bushcast Gambit, famously. In that YouTube video. I love your game, thank you. How to deal with Smith Mora. I'm losing against it. Honestly, my best advice against the Smith Mora is, like, don't go into it. Like, nobody's forcing you to go DC3 there. If you, like, whatever you do against the Alapin in general, if you play Knight F6 or if you play D5, right? Whatever you do in that position, just transpose. Like, I'm a Knight F6 player, so I just play Knight F6 in that position. Then E5, Knight D5, and I don't even have to learn anything else. Because there's not even another good move other than E5. E4, C5, D4, take, C3. Just play Knight F6. Rook G8 here. I think I'm cooked, chat. King H7 or G5. Otherwise, check. Here, I don't... Hey, what am I supposed to do? I got nothing. I really got nothing. D4? So I could do that, but even then they can go check and take the other thing. Yeah, they're gonna grab my bishop. Oh no, wait, I have rook e5. What am I talking about? I don't know why that just occurred to me. Why didn't I play rook e5 last turn when this could have been check? Okay, we're alive. Oh. Okay, well, definitely helping King A2 didn't help with this. I should definitely play here, right? Or else they play B6 and take my pawn quickly. That's just really straightforward, right? That pawn just goes. And that pawn just goes. So, okay. Dang. If I play b6 first, this just goes. I honestly think any of these moves win. Maybe game 4, b6. C4, game 5, c5. Not a range there. If I play b6 in this position, there's just c4, c5. So king a4, I have to go here, and then you just take it, and then you just go here. Nothing. Why am I king so far? Yeah, that h pawn, man. Played this really well. You saw rook e5, yeah, but I gave them king a2. Yeah, they did that. Really smart, really smart. Really well done. c4, c5. No, that's it. That's all she wrote. Yeah, really well played by my opponent. My opponent played a phenomenal game. I blundered badly when I took on f2, and there was just knight f4 there. Then otherwise, my opponent just played great. GG. 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 Wow. Yeah, really well played. Really well played. I think... a couple things. Well, yeah, I didn't know This move here, bishop d3, was a strange one. One of the engine's top choices, though. Puts pressure there. And then queen h4, yeah, this was a nice little idea. You had g3, and then when I went queen h3, bishop f1, I did not see that. And now queen h6 is d4, so it forces the queens off the board. This probably wasn't it, though. I gave the pawn back. And then here I was doing excellently until I took this. And then you got me with knight f4, which blocks my rook's defense and keeps that bishop hanging. But yeah, I think from here, this was just winning for you and really well played here at the h3 timing. You ate my pawns. And otherwise, like, I think this was really strong technique. Really strong technique. You crashed through over there. For g1, that was nice. Lots of pressure here. Made that checkmate idea. You just didn't give me a chance. Just did not give me a chance. And then rook takes h5 was really well timed. Doing that endgame precisely. Would it have mattered if I played rook e5 right away, or can you do it anyway? No, it's a draw now, so actually it made a big difference. I should not have given this check. Should not have given this check and helped out their king position. That's actually really interesting. It's really interesting. But yeah, I took on f2 here, and this was just extraordinarily stupid. This was extraordinarily stupid, and there was knight f4. So yeah, really well played. It did not let me back into the game. Really good technique. Okay, I got a lot of requests to play. I will play the lowest. Okay, I see 75 plus 18. I will play just a 3-0 one here, and then I need to go to bed probably after this. I appreciate you all. I will do more streams like this. Follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, get notified when I go live. Join the Discord. Join the Discord, that's number one. You get notified when I go live, post new videos, everything. You got this, like a Scotch Gambit kind of thing. But it's weird, because I never played knight c6. This would be a Scotch Gambit. Great to catch you live. I watch and learn Aotearoa, New Zealand. Love it. Yeah, comment what time it is, everybody in the chat. Comment what time it is wherever you're watching. Comment where you're watching from, if you feel comfortable. It is 3:30 a.m. here in New York City. I'm a crazy person. $3:35 a.m. for you too. East Coast, Beast Coast. Washington State, West Coast, Best Coast. Man, just as I say my thing. Already won this pin can be nasty. Maybe not though if I take. Alright, let's just go. 235 Minnesota. Shouldn't have gambited the Gambit Master. No, you should. One. So if I take here, bishop f5, knight f3, queen f3, honestly, that starts to look pretty nice for them. I think I kind of misevaluated that before. I feel like that completely untangles them, and I should have put my bishop on g6 after all. Because now what do I do? Alright, I'm just going to give the pawn back. I don't know. It just didn't feel like they got some good bishops. They got some good queen position there. I'm just going to trade everything and go queen d5. Bring stuff into the game, f6. Just vibes from here. I think I'm a little bit better here. And I'm glad I didn't let them keep that light square bishops. 9:35 in Berlin. Just coming back from a chess club and met Eric Hansen. Are you in Canada? He lives in Canada, right? I don't recall where exactly. How big is New Zealand? Two people mentioned different time zones. That makes sense that New Zealand would have different time zones because it's kind of like scattered a little bit, right? You know, like a couple islands. It should be doable. Can't take this, rook is hanging. Can't play bishop h6, rook is hanging. So they got a trade and we got a pawn. Yeah, I mean, I guess queen e2 there, but I understand the hesitation. I was going to go rook e8 and then maybe like some f5 still. F6 makes some problems here. Don't go here. Let's go here. Well, I guess c7 is an issue. Well, bishop h6 is an issue. So, you know what? Stop bothering me. Let's take away here. Oops, time is low. I had to stop bishop h6. So else I have to go g6 and lose the rook. So I guess they could take that pawn. I'll play rook c8, rook e8. Ooh, aggressive. Don't get checkmated though. I also have bishop f8 now, if need be. So it should be all gooch. This is also annoying. Whoa! They're coming after me. Let's trade queens because you're scaring me. Actually, I don't know, c6. Let's just not hang the pawns. Can you do anything to me? I don't really think so. Okay, I'll stop your thing. Not a lot of clock. Not a lot of clock. Thank you, Segasov, for the follow on Twitch. This is guarded. So my opponent doing a good job trying to attack, but we are all good here. No, they have squares. They have squares. I could go after the pawn, but I'm going to do it with a new piece. Let's bring out all the pieces. Let's bring out all the pieces. There. Oops. Oh, I was gonna have queen e1, but they played f3, probably to cover that. Check though. Now the king's lacking squares, and we got him. GG. GG. Okay, let's have a look here. It was a bushcast denied. My opponent tried to be the one to put on the Gambit glasses with an interesting line. Yeah, there's some interesting sharp stuff here. I've talked about this position on my channel, I think a couple times, where it's like you got these pawns, but I'm just gonna go here, castle long. So you play your bishop d3, knight e4, knight d2, f5, and I think this was pretty logical. I could have put this bishop g6 or try to hold on to this pawn, but yeah, this is suddenly a lot of compensation for the pawn. So yeah, the way my opponent played this was kind of interesting, rook e1, and I think, yeah, I played this all the right way, just giving this pawn back and queen d5. So yeah, this is good here, because yeah, if they play queen e2, I go rook e8 and f6, or I can double and continue attacking here. Yeah, I mean, I think it was important actually not to be greedy. Because if I go for this, right, this is what I was talking about. Yes, I keep the pawn, but look at how dangerous this looks. They can make threats on h7 or g7, the queen here. They have kind of unlimited scope, and my pieces just aren't in that vicinity at all, or really any good at all in that position. So giving the pawn back here was important, but they gave this pawn. I respect it. Rook e1 was probably the more logical thing to do here, and just try to hang on to this pawn, and black's here just like a little bit better. They play rook g4, giving this pawn and trying to come at me. F4 blunder. What did I miss here? Oh, bishop h6, of course. Okay, yeah, and I have to lose the rook. Yeah, what? Why did I think that was impossible? Oh, so knight e5 was dumb? No, knight e5 was smart, but I had to play f5. Because now I have rook f7. I had to include f5 in this position. Interesting, okay. I didn't see that at all, and neither did my opponent somehow. How do we both miss bishop h6? I feel like from here on out, that's all we were looking for. I was like, oh, damn, can't defend c7. Gotta guard bishop h6. So, but yeah, I played rook e8 threatening mate. They played h4. I played c6 to guard this. H4 creating this square for their king here. So they came after me. I played h6 to stop that pawn, and we just did a good job here parrying their attack, and we're all good here. This is a king, safe and sound, with as many defensive resources as attacking resources. It should be okay, and that's what we had here. So we just brought our pieces into the game, and actually it was their king in the end that had the problems, as our pieces came to go get it, all 4 of them. GG. GG. Yes, I have so many challenges now and people that want to play and want to chat. I love you all. I appreciate you guys so much. I have to go to sleep. I will be back tomorrow. So, GG, sir, before you go, you will upload the video for the voice strike gambit soon, right? Yes. Message me somewhere. Message me on Discord. That's the best place to reach me. If you guys want private lessons, or just want to talk about stuff. Discord is the best way to go. Click on that link tree. That's right where you are, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're on YouTube, whatever. Click on the link tree. Oh, look at that. Here is the full repertoire of everything you need. What do I do against the London? Oh, let me click there. Look at that. 45 minutes of me talking about a brand new awesome Gambit in the London. So go there. And then also the Discord here. Awesome stuff for, you know, talking about opening ideas, sharing games, get notified when I go live on Twitch and more. Post stuff, join there, talk about all these things, and I'll see you guys in the chat tomorrow.